Okay, we are ready to begin. Today, the Montgomery County Board of Education and Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Joshua P. Starr, have reached an agreement regarding Dr. Starr's future with the district. Under this agreement, Dr. Starr will not be appointed to a new 4-year contract. The board has granted Dr. Starr's request to be released from his contract early on February 16th. Over the past few weeks, the Board of Education has been deliberating Dr. Starr's future at MCPS and whether to appoint him to another 4-year contract. This is part of our statutory obligation as outlined in state law. After much discussion, the board and Dr. Starr agreed it would be in the best interest of the district to appoint a new leader to carry forward the board's vision. The agreement reached today, which has been signed, will allow the board to move forward with a national search for a new superintendent and will allow Dr. Starr to pursue other professional opportunities. It is a fair agreement, and that allows both sides to focus on the future and moving forward. The board deeply appreciates the work he has done in our district over the past 3.5 years. He is a thoughtful, intelligent leader, dedicated to children, committed to social justice and social and emotional learning, and we wish him nothing but the best in the future. The board will quickly begin the search for a new superintendent. The first step will be to hire a search firm. We will move as quickly as possible to ensure that we have a new superintendent in place by July 1. We will also engage in a deliberate process to ensure that we have the best person for the job. During this time of transition, the board has recommended Mr. Larry Bowers, our Chief Operating Officer, to serve as interim superintendent. Under state law, his appointment must be approved by Maryland State Superintendent of Schools, Lillian Lowry. I have spoken with Dr. Lowry about Mr. Bowers and our request for his appointment as interim superintendent. Mr. Bowers is a 37-year veteran of MCPS and has served as Chief Operating Officer for the past 16 years. He knows the system inside and out, and I can think of no one who is more suited to provide the stable, even-handed leadership we need in this time of transition. While I know these types of transitions can be unsettling, I want to be clear. The district has been around for a very long time, and it is bigger than any one person. It is a system made up of 23,000 employees, and this truly is a great system. It's made up of teachers, administrators, and support personnel that we have in our schools and the strong support we have in our community, and that will not change. I look forward to continuing our work together to ensure all students receive a world-class education that prepares them for future success. And now I would like to turn over the podium to Dr. Starr, and then we will take a few questions.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill. Good afternoon, everybody. Many of you have heard me say that I consider being the superintendent of Montgomery County Public Schools to be one of the best jobs in public education. Even today, I still feel that way. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as the superintendent of MCPS for the past 3.5 years. I want to thank the board for providing me with the opportunity to lead one of the best school districts in the country. I am very proud of the work we've done during my time here. We've continued to focus on providing our students with strong academics, including advanced placement and international baccalaureate classes. We've implemented new curriculum and strategies that allow students to develop the creative problem-solving skills that are so important in the 21st century. And we've made a district-wide commitment to meeting the social and emotional needs of our students and building strong relationships that support their overall success. Most importantly, we have been laser-focused on providing customized support to our schools so that they can best serve our students, and we have built strong community partnerships that are meeting the real needs of children and their families. The work we have been doing is getting results. Just last week, the state released graduation data. I'm proud that our graduation rate has risen for each of the 3 years I've been here, and the achievement gap has narrowed for all subgroups. I'm incredibly proud of this progress. But I also know there is much more work to be done. It was my hope that I would be here to continue that work with our staff, our students, our families, and our community. However, I recognize and respect that the board has the right to choose the leader and the direction of the school system. A superintendent is the steward of the community's values, as manifested through an elected Board of Education. No superintendent is bigger than the system that she or he leads, and I understand and respect this board's desire to have a different leader and a different direction. As a Montgomery County taxpayer and parent of 3 kids in our schools, my sole desire is to see MCPS remain an outstanding and strong school system. On a personal note, I want to thank those who have offered words of encouragement and support over the past several days and throughout my time in MCPS. I especially want to thank my wife, Emma, and our wonderful kids for their support. Being the wife of a superintendent is no easy job. As for the future, I will certainly continue my work in public education and my commitment to providing students with an education that prepares them to thrive in their future. I wish nothing but the best for MCPS, its students, staff, and community. It has been an honor to be your superintendent. Thank you.
Question, sir. With the results you just cited, there have been reports that the board felt you didn't close the achievement gap with minorities. You just cited statistics that you did. How and why do you feel you've lost the board, or when did you lose, and how did you lose the support of this board?
Well, you'd have to ask the Board of Education regarding that. Let me be clear. I in no way, shape, or form said we have closed any gaps. So we have made progress on the targets we've set. We've certainly made progress on narrowing gaps. We have not closed any gap here, but we have certainly made progress.
Did they give you a reason?
So again, the board and I have been in conversation over the last couple weeks about this. We have had a commitment to collaboration and shared governance, and we believe that my resignation is an indication that I want the board to have the leader that they feel will lead them to the next level. I certainly understand that and wish them the best.
Why resign? Why not serve out the rest of your term? If this is the best job in education, why leave in kind of the middle of the school year?
Well, so again, under the terms that the Board of Education and I reached, it was determined that for the best interest of the system, I should leave now. I'll be happy to help transition in any way, shape, or form, and leave it over to Mr. Bowers, who is, of course, an extremely experienced educator and has done an incredible job as a leader in the system, and it allows the board and the system to move on, which is what is the most important thing for our system and our kids.
Can someone on the board explain? Can someone on the board
relationships with members of the board?
I'm sorry. So
do you wish you had cultivated perhaps better relationships with members of the board?
So again, the board and I put in place many different mechanisms for what we call shared governance, where we're able to constantly reflect on the work and the progress that we're making. And during that time, we discussed the work of the system. We discussed, my leadership as well. Those are private discussions. They're personnel matters. And while I'm not happy, certainly, at the way things have turned out, at the same time, it is absolutely the board's, authority to move in a direction that they see fit. I am a superintendent of schools. I hold no illusions about longevity in the job or anything else.
Can someone think you got the guidance you needed to carry out your job as you went along the way? You know as very well as an educator, it's up to the teachers guiding you to let you know, yes, you're hitting the mark, yes, you're hitting the mark. Did they let you know when you were falling short?
So again, the board and I have had a deep commitment to shared governance, and during that time, we have certainly come together to talk about the progress that was being made and to ensure that it was aligned with the values and the strategic planning framework that we had put forward.
Can
Dr.
someone
Starr,
on the
what do
board
you say to the
please tell
kids?
us why
Yes, Dr. Starr, while he's still up there. Dr. Starr, for the young people out there, for your students, there was no major scandal. A lot of them are going to find this coming out of the blue. How, in terms of either your kids or the students here, can understand why are you leaving and why early? Why
Well,
early?
I'd like to think that our kids think about the superintendent beyond anything other than snow days, or when I do my town halls. But look, our teachers are still going to teach every day. Our bus drivers are going to take kids to school every day. Our principals are going to principal every day, and they're going to lead every day. And our support professionals are continuing to provide the kind of support and services they do. That's not going to change, whether I'm the superintendent or anybody else is the superintendent. Our folks in Montgomery County Public Schools will continue to do what they do every day, which is serve our kids to the best. And that's what it's about, and that's what it needs to be about.
Mrs. O'Neill, can you jump?
Right.
So, the Board of Education is deeply committed to the institution of MCPS and providing the best education for our students. Under state law, a superintendent of schools can only be offered a 4-year contract. And with every superintendent, at the end of 4 years, there is an evaluation process of whether that contract will be continued. On Sunday, as I was talking to Dr. Starr and on the phone with colleagues, many of you were probably preparing for a Super Bowl party. I was preparing for this day. And I was thinking about MCPS and our team and what it means. We're going to be changing quarterbacks. We've had a great relationship. I personally have had a very wonderful relationship working with Dr. Starr these past 3.5 years. I was very proud to raise my hand in support of him when he was hired 3.5 years ago. But the Board of Education has decided to have another quarterback.
Why?
And
Respectfully, though,
there are
this isn't passing
Please don't interrupt.
there are 8 individuals on the board. They're with 8 different thoughts, opinions, using their own instincts in evaluating the system. We are the only ones who have the authority to appoint a superintendent, and we will make sure that we continue the work that Dr. Starr and his staff and the staff that goes in our schools.
If it's a great and wonderful relationship, though, why is he leaving?
Every superintendent at the end of 4 years, there is an evaluation about whether a new contract will be offered. And we are at that moment in time, and we're moving forward.
Are you
want
going
to
to explain
work.
why?
Are you just not going to tell us why he's not being?
I think
Is
we're gonna have
anybody going to explain
Dan,
why?
let's just have a couple
Really?
questions. Let's have a couple of questions.
Would you accept that answer from a student? I mean, just tell us why. You don't want him.
Yeah. Well, I personally had been quoted in the paper that I had looked forward to raising my hand for Dr. Starr. I am only one individual. It is a part of a collective body and a collective process, and that the decision on any superintendent falls to those 8 democratically elected. Our student board member is elected by the students in that process, and that's where we are today.
Dr. Starr, we're going to go. Dr. Starr, can I ask you another question, sir? Sure. Thank you, Dr. Starr. Dana, I have another question for Dr. Starr. Okay. Are you concerned at all leaving early, quitting early, sends a wrong signal to students who are at risk in deciding themselves whether to stay in school or not? I mean, you could stay till the end of the school year.
So according to the agreement that I reached with the board, the resignation date is February 16th. I know, again, that the students receive the most important messages from their families, from their teachers, and from their staff. I don't think that this is the message is not one of quitting, right? The message, I hope, would be one that don't get into a fight that you know you're not going to win, right? And when the board made it clear that it wanted to go a different direction, well, I'm not going to fight that. Why would I? Right? They have the right to do that. So after discussion, again, my interest is in the health of the system. That is what I want to see. I'm a taxpayer, I'm a resident, I'm a community member. I have 3 kids in the system. This is not about quitting or anything like that. The work goes on. The 23,000 employees will continue to do their work. Any student, given some of the systems we've put in place, any student that might be at risk of dropping out, we'll be able to identify them and help them get the support they need. My resignation I don't think will be a trigger for any of that.
What would they tell the public? What direction is the board looking to go in?
Again, I can't speak for the board, right? The board
Would you
speaks
do
for
anything
themselves.
differently? Would you sort of approach this differently, or is there anything you can sort of look at?
So I'm very proud of everything we put in place. I'm very proud of the work we've done together. We have a record of accomplishments. We've gotten results. As a leader, one always reflects on what went well and what didn't go well. There's nothing, frankly, that I've thought of and said, oh man, that was like a major mistake. But certainly upon reflection, I will have some time to reflect coming up. I will think deeply about what I could have done otherwise, but I do believe that the systems we put in place are the right systems for a public education system, and they are bearing results.
What do you have to say directly to county students about your resignation?
So I want to say to the students how much I appreciate getting to know many of you. I find you to be just some of the most thoughtful, funny, intelligent, just great kids all around. I say all the time, our kids are awesome, and you will continue to be awesome regardless of whether or not I'm superintendent of schools. I appreciate the support that kids have given me, and I've really loved getting to know many of you in different ways. You guys are great, and I know that you will welcome and the next superintendent and engage with the next superintendent in the same way you have with me. And I appreciate the leadership and the thoughtfulness and just the great character of our kids.
Dr. Starr, did you see this coming?
As part of the transition process, are you still going to be involved in trying to get funding from the state for school construction or any of that, since that was your...
I will fulfill my responsibilities as superintendent through February 16th. And those responsibilities are clearly laid out not only in COMAR but in my contract, that I will do everything I'm supposed to be doing as superintendent of schools for the time that I'm here. Maybe one more? All done?
Thank you.